And who is this lovely lady visiting the nest box? It's not our Biddy. So what does this mean for Biddy and Miley? Welcome back to the channel. And finally we are back. And we are starting today's visit with a visit from the rival pair of Bluetits. You saw the male pop in there, followed by the female. And she is a lovely looking bird, but it is not our Biddy. This pair is showing progressive interest in this box. And they clearly know that the nest box is being used, as Biddy and Miley are always around. As we see Biddy in here a short time later doing some nesting shuffles and getting the nest building progress started for the day. And we are covering 2 days of nest building today. And in coming videos we have buckets of footage to get through, as I'm sure you're aware the live stream is well ahead of where we are in these videos. But don't worry, we are going to get through loads of footage in the coming days, as I have it all saved up and I'm going to do a bucket of editing. And with that, on the morning of the 7th of April, Biddy starts to build her nest again, starting to bring in loads more material. She's bringing in plenty of straw and moss, and we can still see the nest cup starting to form, but we can very much see that the bottom of the nest cup is still very much open and open to the bare wood below. So at this point in time, she has a long way to go before completing her nest. And at this point in time, she was doing most of her building in the morning time. And this will consist of 2 to 3 to 4 hours work. You can see her here coming in and out and bringing in a nice bulk of material this early afternoon. And it's not just a case of bringing in material in and throwing it around the place. She does place it into certain positions and then starts with the nesting shuffle. She usually pops in, throws the material with a flick of her head, and then proceeds into shuffles, compacting that material and further strengthening and enforcing that nest cup. It's always one of my personal favourite scenes to see, especially when she's getting buried by the moss like this. The moss doesn't always play ball. And it really looks like she's getting swallowed up by her own nested material. And she even looks a little confused by what's happening sometimes, which I always find quite humorous. Every so often though, we would see her hop up to the nest hole just like this and take a peek out. I don't know if she's hearing the rival pair of Bluetits maybe flying by, or indeed in the tree, but she tends to hop up on the nest hole sometimes like that and just peer out for a little while. But we know our Biddy likes to keep busy, and it's not long until she's right back at the grind. So as previously stated, she was doing most of her work at around 12 o'clock. And then proceed to pop in sometime in the evening and do a small spat of nest building. But today she continues to build on and off throughout the day. And when you see nest building intensifying, you know that they are wanting to get nesting underway. This tells me usually that the birds think there is favourable conditions to nest at the moment. And so we see here Biddy doubling her efforts for the rest of the 7th. Which brings us to the 8th, where we have a visit from the great tit. And it seems to be having quite a big look at the nest box and even proceeds to hop in. It always amazes me just how bigger of a bird a great tit is to a blue tit, especially when you see them one after another like this. I can tell by the broken stripe down her belly that this is a female great tit. The male one has a much thicker blacker band going down its belly. But not only that, just look at this. This great tit had the audacity to do a nesting shuffle in Biddy's nest. So that's a rival pair and possibly a great tit that is interested in Biddy's nest. We see the great tit being very interested in what's going on outside. I would say Biddy or Miley is out there kicking up a fuss that the great tit is in the nest. But all this commotion never seems to deter Biddy from continuing to build her nest, and she carries on the 8th and starts to bring in loads more material. And this is the process we're going to see over the coming days, her continue to do this until she has completed the nest, other than the fact that it needs to be softened up. So she needs to make sure that the moss is compact on the side and below her, which is no mean feat when you're only the weight of a €2 coin. And the sheer amount of time that they take to build a nest always amazes me. She builds the nest on and off for 4 hours today on the 8th. And it really just goes to show how much time and energy they are willing to put in to give their chicks the best possible chance of surviving to adulthood. And as we know, Biddy has had some awful luck with this in the past. But it doesn't seem to be deterring her in any way, shape or form, as we can see her bringing in an impressive piece of moss there and plucking it down into its preferred position in the nest. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you all for really just being patient with me while I completed my exams there, and indeed waited very patiently for these videos to start coming out again. I sure hope the live stream helped with that, and indeed gave you something to look at and to help you keep tabs on Biddy yourselves and see what was going on. And it's already shaping up to be a very interesting year. I'm not going to say anything too much now to spoil these videos, as on the 8th of April, Biddy doesn't even have a proper nest cup built yet. We can still see the bare ground in her nest. But it is slowly starting to take shape, and it is getting more and more compact in there. And it's looking like we're going to have a beautiful view of that nest cup if it continues to be in that position. And with that, we are coming to the end of this video. We saw some good nest building by Biddy, and indeed we saw some commotion with the great tit and the rival pair of blue tits showing interest. How all does this play out in the coming days? Well, these videos are just going to keep on coming in the next coming weeks. So with that, don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and all that stuff. And be sure to share the live stream and the videos with anyone that you may find that may be interested in watching such things. And with all that being said, we will see you in the next video. Thanks for everything, and we'll see you again. Bye bye.